best technology at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Chaotic, what's up, man?
What's
Hey,
up?
it's good to hear you guys.
Can you hear? Are we coming through pretty well, or?
Yeah, you're solid. I got my headphones on, or earbuds.
Okay.
Nice. So you got a surprise guest here. You got Vin Man.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty awesome.
You know, pretty much everybody in the Manosphere is going to hear it.
Yeah, this huge audience, right? Tens of thousands of people are going to be listening.
Hey, eventually we'll be famous, man. I mean, you're the first guest, so.
Yeah, this is my first time ever talking to anyone on the forum outside of PMing, so this will be interesting.
All right, so I guess since we've got that out of the way, why don't we go ahead and just kind of like officially maybe introduce ourselves. I'm Helter Skelter, and I'm here with, obviously, we got our call-in, Chaotic, and the other guys sitting with me are...
Cobra?
Vin Man.
So thanks for calling in, man. So we've got some questions here. We've got a lot of different things, but why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about, maybe a little bit about yourself and some of the stuff you've been doing gaming over there in California.
Oh, man. Where do I start? I mean, I guess I could start from the beginning. I basically, grew up in kind of a Desi Indian Pakistani household, and I actually had not a nuclear family growing up. So basically, I guess I could say my experience was a lot more of a hybrid experience, being raised by relatives and, moving around a little bit here and there.
That's interesting.
I went to the same school and stuff like that, but with game, oh man, I'll never forget it. The first time I ever saw anything about Roosh or Rock was a buddy sent a link to Rock about like sled tells, like how to tell your girls a sled or something like that. And we're all laughing about it. But then
Same here, man. That was the first article that I ever saw. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I started reading other stuff on that website. And I was like, holy shit, this is true. This is some good stuff. And this is right after I just broken up with my second to last LTR. So it was my second to last relationship, and I did the dumping for once, and I finally had a little bit of my fucking nutsack back. So I was finally able to kind of open my eyes to what was really going on, and then I read all the signs, and I looked back at her, and I'm like, dude, that bitch was a fucking slut, like, So that's where it started, and I just started writing on here and asking and reading and just hammering things out and just going on dates and meeting girls, and it turned out pretty great. One thing I can accredit it to, and I've dropped this before, is the Inner Game DVDs that came. I actually downloaded it offline, so don't sue me, David D'Angelo, but I really was focused on my inner game and how I felt about things. I was kind of a jokester, but the way I displayed it, most girls thought I was like a literal asshole. So I was able to channel that and just become this like sarcastic asshole. And I can talk to any girl and they'll be shocked because I'm so blunt and, sexual and honest and stuff like that, but they love it at the same time.
What do you mean by blunt? What's an example of like some of the stuff you use?
Like we were bowling on Sunday night, for example, with this girl on the date, and she was so embarrassed to, bowl the ball down. I said, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'll dance right here and do whatever I want. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, fuck everyone else. It don't matter. Like, I'm having a seat. I don't give a shit. And she kind of looked at me like, yeah, you're right. It's like she had an epiphany. It was funny.
That's awesome.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. Like, everyone knows I'm like, when I'm on Facebook, which I try not to be as much, but, people start talking about stuff, and I always will, like, fuck with people on there. Do you go against the grain, drop shit that, people are going to get offended about? But I get off of that, and there's actually, I remember this, I'll never forget it, she said this twice, too. There's a cute blonde chick with, like, fake tits, super tiny, and I'm at a bar, and she shows up, and I was my old LTR, she's, oh my god, you're I was like, yeah. So, yeah, that's what happened. And she just basically name dropping, like, oh, you're so funny on this, blah, 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 like, things like that.
Oh, so she recognized you from Facebook and...
Yeah, it's like social media,
Okay.
Stuff like I'll post and stuff like that. And I use social media just to, like,
It's almost like
with people when I can.
It's almost like Fame Game in a way,
It is.
Yeah.
Fame Game definitely has a huge influence here in Southern California. I'll say that much.
Nice.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you too. I mean, you're huge on social media, as far as like how you use it. But at the same time, you kind of use that as an outlet to get into dates, and then once you're on the dates, I mean, obviously everybody still needs game, and I think that's where you get to channel, what you call the asshole game, and kind of escalate. And what I found interesting from your posts, man, is how you do that escalation. And, a lot of guys on the forum, probably just want to know, like, how do you escalate once you're on a date? Like, what kind of mindset do you get into, and how do you start the process?
Well, I mean, first process is getting off work and going and lifting, getting my mind clear. Just cleanse. I get out, I'll meet up with this chick, typically it's the same time. It's usually either by my house, which is most of the time, but the last few were like halfway, which is barely like a 10-minute drive from my work. So I kill time and I can go on the date and have fun and see what produces out of it. In that case, I'll bring that up later, but let's say a girl came to me. So we meet up at a local bar, and I already know, when I first started, I literally had to write things down that I would remember. I remember this like 2-3 years ago, like I would write down, like, okay, I should be doing this. Do you have like a checklist? I'd write things down, things about her, things I should, poke on, things I should, drop, stuff like that. And then soon it became natural. And then I just let my kind of like clown game, like asshole game come around. And it just made girls laugh. And then I just realized that's my niche. If I can make a bitch laugh, that's all that fucking matters, dude. I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vin Man over here is
Vin Man basically gave you a high five, man.
Yeah, making gestures that makes it look like he agrees with what you're saying. So
yeah, he was throwing hands up and shit when you said that. So that's awesome. I mean, the fact that you're able to channel that is great. And I mean, that's one of the problems that a lot of guys have, right? I mean, once you get into the red pill, escalation's huge, because before that, there's a lot of guys that go on dates, but they don't know exactly how to turn that date into a bang. So it's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. I was just talking about this in the Players Lounge, where I was talking about these kids I know from my job on weekends. I mean, these are young kids, and I tell them, look, this is my routine now. This is what I do. Like, I'll meet them at the bar, and then I'll start with, probing, seeing what they're about, seeing what makes them laugh, see what their interests are, start talking about that, start talking about traveling, things I've done, see if they've done it, and then kind of like, oh, you haven't done that? And then basically, oh, we should go do that sometime, drop a bait. Then comes in my rifle. I mean, like, you're like, hey, like, I built this, I machined it, like, this is what it does, this is how it's made. They're, like, I've noticed girls, if I get really into something, and then I start describing it, and I'm intense about it, and I'm passionate about it, they love that. Absolutely. And then, we'll drop bass, like, maybe later we'll check it out. And then venue bouncing is a huge thing to me. If the girl's cool and I'm feeling the vibe, absolutely. I'm going to get one drink at one bar, and it's just cute. I'm bouncing to a bar where I know more people. None of these girls are usually in my own hometown. I don't shit usually where I eat, so, which is great. These girls will come anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes away and will come and meet up with me, which is cool. And that has to do with a lot of comfort game also. But the actual escalation is probably at venue 2, where, we got a couple more drinks, a little booze, we can talk a little bit more, I'm a little bit more, not perverted now, I'm not acting thirsty or sexual at all, but I'm dropping, like, not bullshit. Like, I'm gonna say, look, like, we start talking about stuff like, I'm not really a guy to bullshit or fuck around, like, I'm straight up, I don't like beating around the bush, and, I'll say things how they are, and she's like, yeah, I like that, and I'll get a lot of girls that'll say that. Then it comes to, like, dropping some, like, red pill knowledge, talking about, you got a bunch of guys acting like bitches, you've got a lot of girls acting like dudes, it's totally unattractive, and you kind of see in their eyes if they're kind of they're into it, and then you start talking more and more about it. You have a great discussion about the dating scene and how it is nowadays, and how it could be so much better, and how it's all fucked up. And it's a great conversation to get to when you're on a date, because they start realizing, well, it's not like this with us, so it kind of builds more comfort.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest thing is making sure that your logistics are tight.
Mm-hmm.
Right down the street from me, probably about a half a mile away, I've got 2 or 3 bars where I know bartenders and they're cool, and then they'll hook me up with shots every so often. There's one specific bar, if the girl's really cute, I will take her into that bar, absolutely. Because I know the girls that work there, and I know one of the guys that works there. And that's a place definitely be seen, And, then word starts getting around. Like, I've actually went in there before New Year's, and I was with another girl. She's like, what happened to another girl you were with? And I'm like, no, we're just not together. She just kind of laughed.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I wanted to actually point out is...
That's pretty cool, though. Yeah.
what you just said, we were just talking about abundance mentality a little earlier. And, when you were saying you take girls to a certain bar, and if the girl's really cute, you take her to a different bar, that kind of shows like how your abundance mentality mindset, outcome independence sort of works, because you're basically qualifying these girls. Yeah, which is awesome.
From the first drink, if I'm not interested, it's one and out.
Yeah, and you're not gonna do anything more for them. But if you're really interested in the girl, you take her to someplace that you value. That's awesome.
So how long have you had this, this good logistical setup going for you? I mean, how long, it's not something that just appears out of thin air. You got to go to these bars and kind of develop these relationships.
Well, I think one thing I should note is the weekend job I have is a very sociable job. And I meet lots of people, and that's actually how I got my Monday through Friday job.
Oh, is that the skateboarding shop?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a skate shop, and I run that on the weekends. So I see a lot of cool people, cute girls. When I was younger, people would basically, they come in, they'd be partying, we're underage, and they come in. I used to have parties from them. People would come to my house. We would have 2 or 3 kegs here at one point. And so I kind of know I know my city. And, that's funny because my ex would always say, hey, like, you always know someone everywhere. What do you do? Like, it's not just the shop. It's got to be something else. And it's I just laugh, say, hey, people love me.
Yep.
And that's a big point. I can strike up a conversation with them, but I also know some of the bartenders through friends of friends, or they are my friends, or I met them through the shop, or just partying around here. So that definitely is an important factor. So there's a little kind of fame game, sexual market value right there as far as, he knows people, all this stuff, because I'll take care of people, they'll take care of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of like knowing your city, Vinman, you've been around your city for a little while, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
What city is that again?
Chicago.
Oh, okay, Chicago. All right.
Yeah.
What kind of similarities would you say you notice as far as like kind of getting your town down on lock?
Well, there's so many different venues in Chicago. I'm still trying to find a spot where I can go and kind of like where he's got his setup, where it's a chill spot. You go in there, people know you. You can bring different women in and out. I'm still bouncing around trying to find spots that I like that in Chicago that are pretty chill, because you got so many places there that turn over. The crowds turn over so much that I got a couple little dive bars where I hang out, but it's not a place where I go to pick up women. I bring women there sometimes when I want to get them away from the crowd.
Yeah.
And the bartenders know me, the security guys know me, and I can still talk to women there and make my move.
Do you think that, because you've been, you were in the military, I was in the military, I was in Southern California for a little while, and I was in South Carolina. And I noticed that warmer areas, I kind of developed that, this is the bar that I'm going to use for this. I know these people at this bar, this kind of has this crowd. But in the, in the north, in the colder areas up in the north, I think New York might be a bit of an exception, but when I was out, out in Maryland and in like the Northwest or DC, the bars there don't have necessarily the same kind of like regular crowd. I mean, you have like maybe the old drunks who come through, but you're not going to have like the young, young kids coming through in the same kind of way that you are in a warmer climate. It seems like
not unless you live someplace that's close to like Loyola University or DePaul, and it's a popular.
And that's
spot.
a rotating crowd of students too.
Right.
So
because a perfect example is a guy here in Chicago, Snowplow. He's got a bar that's literally in his neighborhood, and we've gone there a few times.
Yeah.
But every time you go there, there's a different crowd in there. I've never run into the same person twice in that place. So it's like everybody's a freaking transient in Chicago. I still have yet to find a place where, all right, this is my crowd. This is where I want to hang out all the time.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up because there's one bar I would take my initial dates. There's actually two, my bad. One is for like a girl I know is already cute. I'll take her to that. The other bars, it's kind of questionable. So I'll take them to like this dive bar. And I love dive bars. It's a great place. But there's one where I actually would take my ex to. That was the only one. No girls would go there. That's my spot. And that's, no one else is going there except me, my homies. And no, that's it. Like, if I pick up a girl there, cool, but I'm not, that's just my place to hang out. And I'm really tight with the owner and the bartenders there. But I'll never take a girl there just because that's my own refuge.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I guess I sort of had the same thing when I was in areas where I've lived longer. I've kind of done the same thing. Like, I know these people. I want them to see me there with hotter women. Or this is just my, I feel good about the atmosphere here. That's pretty cool. Can we roll into asking you some of the questions some of the guys from the forum wanted to have you answer, Chaotic?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually on the forum right now taking a look.
Okay, so you see those. Yeah, it looks like Balkan, and there was one other about, a guy talking about just being an Indian guy picking up girls. Yeah, just take your pick, man.
Being an Indian guy picking up Indian girls. So that's actually you and I think both know that's a...
white girl. I need a white girl now.
Oh, man, there goes the IRT right there.
Man, I'm the anti-IRT killer, dude.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Indian guy game in a little bit, but yeah, I think this guy was asking, wish I saw this earlier, here's some questions for Chaotic. And this motherfucker's got like 8 questions for you. It's actually not 8. Well, the last one's fucking long. How did you do with women before you found the forum? I think you answered that a little bit. Maybe we could focus on, maybe not that one as much, but were there any specific moments that transitioned you from the blue to the red pill? I mean, that's probably a more relevant one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll just real quick start with the first one. I mean, when I did with women, I lost my virginity at 15 and a half, so I didn't do too bad.
Jesus.
Oh, no shit, dude.
Man.
You're like the youngest
shit.
Indian dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was a little shithead when I was a little younger, and so I'd like actually jack relatives' cars to go see chicks.
So Vidman's over here just nodding,
That's how you do it.
What was this, like a babysitter or something, man? Was it like a...
Nah, man, it was just girls I knew through, like riding the bus or like, actually, I felt like I was a little bit of early pioneer adopting online too, because I get girls from there, meet up with girls and party, when I smoked, like weed a bunch back then, like I'd meet stoner girls and stuff. But
That's
mostly,
awesome.
I didn't do too good compared to how I did now. I mean, I'd definitely say in the last few years, it's just exploded compared to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And for the second one, from the transition, the first transition was with my first ex when I was like 18, 19. And, I didn't realize until the whole thing was over. I mean, this chick, like, broke up with me, like, almost died. It was all some crazy shit. And then I got dumped. And then she ended up, like, fucking one of my best friends, like, right in between. And then all this shit happened, and I got back with her like a little bitch.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and then I dumped her finally, and that was actually like, I think on Valentine's Day on our anniversary. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's just
Nice.
It's cold and calculated.
I dumped a girl at Christmas. That was the coldest I ever got. Yeah.
Dude, you were what's that new scary
Two
guy?
weeks away from Christmas, and she got this.
Yeah.
That's Krampus, man.
Oh, that's some diabolical
I think
shit.
Valentine's Day is worse, man. Valentine's Day would be worse than Christmas, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
What's worse, Christmas, Valentine's Day, or her birthday?
I dumped a girl I was seeing like right before Mother's Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit, man.
Man, peace out. And we had a trip planned to Canada.
Oh.
She had already bought plane tickets, and she got on my nerves. Was like, you know what? I'm ejected.
Yeah.
Poof.
This girl tried to tell me to go to Tiffany's to get her a Christmas present, and I was like, "How about we break up?"
Nice.
It's a lot cheaper.
I don't exactly remember how it was. I was working a lot at the time, But anyway, sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go
It's all
ahead.
good, man. That was the first stage. Second stage was my second to last sex. This was a girl I thought, dude, this girl's a fucking smoke show. I'm gonna lock her down. I got her like a promise ring and all this shit.
Nice, yeah.
Was that beta?
Yeah. Did you post it? Was that beta thread?
I need to go back in there and just like get rid of the skeletons out of my closet, man.
Yeah.
Holy
But
fuck, man.
that basically, oh man, this is crazy. Like, she's like, I talked to my ex around in him, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? I had sometimes where I was like, nah, fuck that ain't happening. And she liked it. And then I was like, I remember this was a big breaking point. We go to her pad, which is like 45 minutes away, and then we go out to the beach, we come back, and I don't have any clothes, and she's like, well, I'm gonna go to the club. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna, yeah, you can go, babe, blah, blah, blah. And then, so she goes, and then she goes with her friend, who actually was a model. And then I started thinking, like, hamster's going fucking crazy. And she didn't come home. And I did the beta thing. I looked through her fucking diary. I looked through her phone. Not phone, her laptop that was mine.
Yeah.
And I found some, like, shit I didn't want to see. And I didn't leave. My gut told me, you need to leave right now. And I stayed and I slept over. So something at her house when she wasn't even there. And
that hurts, man. That changes you, dude. That's definitely an experience that sticks with you.
Yeah,
No, that's
shit.
pretty fucked up, yeah.
Yeah, and then the climax was basically like breaking her phone in Vegas and telling her ass to go home. And of course, I bought her a fucking phone again and bought a ticket for her to go home.
Oh, man.
I went to Vegas once and I played laser tag. That's the only time, my only Vegas experience. But it was, I had like a few hours of leave, and I wanted to go to Vegas, just really bad. But I wasn't 21 yet, and me and this other kid who looked like he was like 8 years old, and we go to this laser tag place, and he's running around. He's like, "We're Marines, motherfuckers!" in his little high child voice, And there's a bunch of 10-year-old kids, and he's just running through, just cursing his fucking ass off. And then we had to go home, and that was it. That was my Vegas experience. So one of these days, I'll have to.
Dude, man.
I'll have to go back.
Are you sure you in Vegas, dude?
Yeah, I don't think it really counts as
You could have
doing
done that
Vegas,
shit in Barstow.
Right?
Holy fuck, man.
I know, man.
You did the complete opposite of what everyone else did.
So we all have our humiliating experiences from Vegas, man.
That was definitely the climax with her, and then that's when I finally branched out and opened my mind and saw everything, and was like, damn, this is some heavy shit, and I just started absorbing it as much as I could.
That's awesome.
That was definitely the transition.
Yeah, so this guy's also asking, how do you have the drive to go on multiple dates a week, and how does the cycle work? I think he's...
Oh, that's a really good... Sorry to cut you. That's a really good one, man. Like energy and just kind of like having the motivation. I mean, you sound like a lot of my friends. I was sort of a late bloomer. I don't think that I had sex until I was 18 or 19 for the first time. I
was actually older than you.
And I've tried to make up lost time as much as possible, but how does this play in, man? Like, where do you get the motivation from? What's the drive and the energy that it's kind of pushing you to go on these dates or whatever it is you do?
Yeah, it was just farming, filtering, and then just going after it. I'm like, it's every new girl's a new experience, and you're going to learn something from it, regardless if it's bad or not. You're going to learn. And I come with an open mind. I tell every girl that I meet, like, I have zero expectations out of you. Like, I have none. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, we're just here to hang out and see how we vibe, and then we can go from there. And they're very comfortable with that. And I don't know. I embrace it. When I got on the form, I just started embracing it. I'd start making Excel sheets. I started like writing things down, scheduling dates if I had to. If I had too many, double booked. And I always made sure it's like a challenge to get a girl out, then to take her home, and then get her off, and then send her off. And
using Excel spreadsheets, technology, fucking Indian.
Yeah, technology definitely helped, man. And with the way my schedule is, I get off work in the evenings. Well, I'm done with the gym and everything, and I get home, and I'm like, just I don't even want to deal with that and go out. Maybe pick some girl up or anything like that. I might as well just have it, as one guy said, just delivered or whatever. Like I just go for it. I was like, fuck it. Like I've got nothing to lose, and I got some free time. Why not? So you just gotta go after it. You gotta put in the work, regardless if you're approaching or you're swiping or you're talking. It does not matter. You have to go at it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And maybe we can move on to this for a second here. I think this guy had another question, but maybe we can cover Indian girls right now. I don't know if you specifically go for Indian girls or if you've been with one. How do you? No, go ahead.
Well, first of all, does you being Indian, do you think that affects your game in that area or?
Oh, you mean with Indian girls?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Southern California, I think, is a little bit more
open.
A little bit more open, a little bit more diverse. I mean, than even here in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't compare because I've never been there. But what do you think, Chaotic?
Well, Southern California definitely has more diverse girls, but I mean, you've got your classic basic bitch white girl. You've got Mexican girls that are just sassy that I love to death. You've got Asian girls, and that's a big challenge I'm trying to work on this year.
Really?
You got all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff here. But with Indian girls specifically, the first girl that I hooked up with, but I didn't even bang, was this just really, really smart girl who ended up being almost like a president of some company or some shit. But
holy shit, man!
Yeah, her parents ran it and she ran it, but she was definitely cute. And she's the one who thought I was an asshole back in high school, and I didn't even know game. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up meeting up again. That was my first experience. But in the last year, I banged 3 Indian girls, and actually one currently who's in my rotation.
Really?
And
were any of them virgins, like they say they were?
What's up?
I said, were any of them virgins, like they probably said they were?
The Indian girls put themselves out as virgins?
They didn't even talk about it.
No. Oh, really?
That whole conversation never came up, and they both, to me, felt like they'd done this quite a bit.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, I've had one girl who I didn't hook up with, actually, but, she was cute. Definitely kind of a thicker booty, she has some titties, but...
You got Vin's attention. Yeah, you got Vin's attention, man.
I think it happened as soon as you said titties.
Or thicker booty,
Yeah, maybe it was the booty, right.
Not to stereotype, but...
I mean, she came over, and then the second time we met, I was already just straight finger blasting her, and she didn't want to give me head. I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, Vince.
And then she finally just, gave me head, but then I'm just like, well, I can get a condom, let's do this. I didn't say it like that, but she kind of turned her legs again and again, and I'm like, dude, this is an LMR. And then I just straight called her out, and it's like, you're a virgin, aren't you? She's like, yeah. And then I was like, all right. And then next week, she hits me up and says, what do you think is going, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, later, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this.
That's fucking awesome.
It's too much. I've been strung along before. I think it almost sounds like you figured this out a little bit faster than I did, but it really, I just hate being strung along by these girls. You're like, let me, I'm trying to get in there, and she's just like, oh, where is it going? Do you even like me? There's this one girl, I remember, I fucked her in the ass, and
wow, well,
later I was at a bar and I was talking to this other dude, And we started describing these girls that we've been having. He's like, oh yeah, she's this girl from Michigan. She cooks. And I was like, wait a second, what's her name? And it turns out it's the same girl.
No.
And I was like, oh shit, dude, I was over there Friday night. And he's like, oh fuck, I was over there Saturday. And she's like this giant whore, man, apparently being passed around by every dude in this town. And she texts me later and she goes, because I was trying to hit that shit again. And she texts me and she goes, do you even like me? And I was like, I guess now I probably would have been just like, yeah, I fucking love you or some shit, whatever. But, or I don't know what I would have said, just something, sarcastic. But I was just like, well, I'm not really looking for a relationship. That's what I said at the time. But even girls who are just straight up extremely slutty, they have to kind of validate themselves somehow, I think.
Yeah, it's just plausible deniability.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's something, it's easy to figure out if a girl's going to just go for it. She's going to put up a lot of last-minute resistance. I've noticed that. I mean, with one of the Indian girls, and random story, but she actually knew one of my friends that I just deleted both of them. It got weird. But anyways, she wouldn't let me fuck her, and finally, after a little bit of stop, and then, push and pull, and finally I get to smash her, and I fucking was on a period, which sucked, but
oh god,
I never talked to her again after that. But you can tell that she was going to be a fighter, and because she was kind of like putting slutty vibes out, but her body language is telling me different. And other girls, it's just, all right, we're in bed, we make out, we're naked, whoops, all right, that's it, later, and that's up.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely, you can tell, but it definitely takes experience, like just smashing away and just being able to figure out what girls are about. But, you could be throwing a left ball, a curve out of left field, and
yeah. Well, you said before,
hooking up.
Earlier you said you can see something in their eyes. I think that, I kind of understand what you're talking about when you say that, and maybe, the guys here do. Some of the guys maybe who are more new to the game don't necessarily have the
acumen.
To pick up on the vibe, or things are going properly. I'm just interested, what is it that you sense, if you can maybe speak to that a little bit more, like what do you sense about your what you see in a girl's eyes that lets you know, she's feeling it?
When she laughs and she looks at you, and you look at her eyes, and she's just having a good time. She doesn't care where she's at, but she's having fun with you. That's like I said, is important to me. You can just, you can just see it. You look in the eyes and you see it.
And chaotic. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when you're talking to them, they're like looking forward to you and leaning in you and just like staring at you. You can't stop staring and barely blinking. Like you can just tell with that. I think another thing is with body language, there's always tells there. The whole, classic leaning in, playing with their hair, touching their neck. Maybe squirming with their hands a little bit, their legs are going towards you, their asses towards you, whatever. Things like that are tells, but eyes are very important too. And go ahead.
Interesting. No, I was, we were just talking about body language a little bit in the last podcast, and that's a really important thing. Now, let me ask you this, what sort of got you to this point where you're reading body language really well? I mean, was it just experience over time, the forum, or I'm guessing it's a combination of both, but, I just kind of wanted to have the listener sort of see where you got the skill set to be able to be, just good at it.
It's absolutely the forum. I started reading some guys' sticky threads on, body language, and started kind of branching out to different links. So it started out there, and then I started observing women talking to other guys, whether it be my friends' girlfriends or whatever. It's, how they're leaning into them, or, if they're playfully punching them. If I don't get a girl to hit me in the shoulder by the end of the night, then, I didn't do a good job making them laugh.
I hate that, personally. But I think it's definitely like an indicator that she likes you. But
if she does it a lot,
it's almost like she likes you, but she doesn't have a good sense of boundaries.
Right.
So, I guess it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I mean, if she hits you in the shoulder, she's lost her head a little bit. It's almost like, she doesn't know where she's at. She needs to kind of like wake up. I'm not really sure how to wake a girl up from that. I've had a few instances where, you know, you try to, I guess, I prefer my women a little bit more reserved now. I used to be okay with the crazy, and we'll just, you know, we'll go do some crazy shit and steal a car and fucking, no, it's not steal a car, but.
Is your name Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, right. But for me, you know, like if I can get a girl to ask me questions, you know, that's an early indicator, I think, of interest for me. But
yeah, absolutely, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because, you know, you can drop a couple stories in, but the more she talks, unless you do, she's doing all the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a great thing. You can drop some stories, and then I'll literally sometimes even say, like, you know, I'm tired of talking. It's your turn, and then let her talk about it. Just ask her questions to keep her talking. But it's, you know, stuff I'm obviously interested, because I'm obviously categorizing her, I'm qualifying her, I'm seeing if it's something I'd be interested in. You know, is it just one night stands? Is it something I can just, you know, do with for a little bit, or if it's, you know, material that's better than that.
Yeah. Yep. Vin, what about you? What would you say is the sort of the moment where you can tell, like, or what is it you pick up on to sense that a girl is feeling it?
Ridiculous shit that I might say,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just start asking me more questions, and I just double down on the fuckery. Other night, I'm out with a girl, and the shit where they say agree and amplify. I'm having a conversation with this girl, and she's talking about kids, and I don't have any, and she's like, do you want them? I'm like, yeah, but I don't want like infants or toddlers, even though they're cute. I want them to show up when they're like 15. When I can be, instead of being a dad, I can be a mentor. And she's like, what about all of those years where they're trying to develop? I'm like, fuck that. Come to me when you're 15, or even better, 20. You don't even have to be my kid. You could be like some nice 20-year-old girl, and I could teach you some shit. And I just doubled down on it and just kept running with that. And the girl was laughing the whole time. And I'm like,
hell yeah,
look at this bullshit.
That's where
that's good shit.
That clown game shit comes in. Just absolutely making a mockery of maybe something she said or some shit like that. And just, like you said, doubling down. Like, in that case, I probably would have said, what's sweeter than the sound of children's laughter? The sound of not having any fucking kids. Yeah. And
one thing that I learned is you have to be adaptable for the type of chick that you're dealing with. I'm a big dude. I'm like 6 foot. I'm about 260. You can see that I lift. And so I have to play up the clown game / comfort game because I look kind of like the dudes that rape you in prison. So I have to make them feel comfortable because I look like a bear, I sound like a bear, so I have to make the bunny rabbits feel comfortable enough to come into the bear's den. But I've also had chicks that I came off like a goon because, I'm working security jobs, and from time to time I'll carry a gun around, and this girl was really paying me no mind, and she brushed up against the gun, and she's like, what's that? It's a gun. Why are you carrying a gun? And I saw her eyes light up. And I'm like, this motherfucker's out here tripping. I might have to handle business. And I just started rolling with that. Next thing you know, I'm checking her gag reflex in the parking lot. So you have to adapt.
She found something else long, black and hard, huh?
Yup. As they say in Spanish, toma.
So I wanted to kind of move into this. It's kind of fucked up, right? I mean, I wanted to say this was kind of like an Indian man game type of thing, but honestly, it doesn't matter.
I think Vin Man had to come in and fuck everything up, and obviously I'm here and I'm white, so.
So yeah, now we had a white guy and 2 Indian guys. Now Vin Man came in, he's black. Now we've got almost every spectrum in the entire country.
If we can invite a Mexican over, we'll be good.
Yeah, I know, we don't have any.
I'm sorry,
anybody
Hispanic.
In the tribe. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Hispanic. We don't even have Asian people here in the tribe. But anyway,
that's true.
We had, he got weird.
We're fucked up on our diversity.
We're not saying any names.
Yeah, we're not saying names. Yeah, he did get weird.
Yeah, our diversity quota is not being hit properly. We're due for a budget cut here.
So this guy, Chaotic, I mean, he fucking approached so many girls, dude. I mean, there were girls that told him, you just approached me last week. So this guy was all over the place, but he just disappeared off of the tribe and the forum. I don't know what happened. But anyway, the point that I was trying to get at is race, which, some people just kind of sweep under the rug Other people talk about it openly like it's some kind of fucking detriment. I think both of those things are sort of things on each side of the spectrum that probably don't make sense. There's always
Yeah, go ahead.
there's always that space in the middle, right, where you kind of accept what it is and deal with it. Now you and me got different backgrounds. I've got a completely different background from you. As far as, I actually moved here from India, so that was a struggle for me. But us both as Indian guys, I could tell just by talking to you that you don't give a fuck about, that as far as race, or how it affects you, because it seems like it really doesn't. And that's just, I could tell that from talking to you. Now, what's your perspective is what I want to know on, God, you probably have some friends, right? Indian or not, maybe people that came from another country, another culture, that think that all of a sudden certain kinds of girls are against them. There's the IRT out there. He thinks that white girls don't like him or whatever. It's just, how do you feel about that? And I guess what I'm asking is, how much do you think of that as inner game versus how much of that is like, just unconscious bias, right? Because that's what I see. It's a lot of bias a lot of times. Because after I talk to like a white girl, if I could talk to her for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, she's pretty comfortable talking to me. So, I just want to hear your perspective on that.
Well, when I was younger, I was a little bit more conscious about it.
Were you really?
I was first generation born here, so hanging out with a lot of people out here. Most of them were white or Mexican, a few Asians that were out here, but I was only like IRT. So, I'm just,
Really?
I was definitely aware that I was different, and I did experience like a little racism, but I actually turned that into something. I just basically turned it on its head. I'd either agree and amplify on it, or I just basically flip it on them. Mm-hmm. And in the end, I just would gain respect, because when I was younger, I had to grow up with not really having a solid family foundation, but I made the best of it, and I got the best people to help me out with that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot had to do with the fact that my family's mostly Muslim.
Okay.
And, that obviously brings out conservative values, like not having a girlfriend before you're married, not having sex, not drinking, not eating bacon or whatever the fuck,
My family is very conservative Christian, so
so I
stuff,
grew up with that kind of ingrained in my DNA, and I broke the chains out of that because I just started to, this is stupid shit. Like, I should be able to do what I want to do that makes me happy.
Dude, let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to...
What to interrupt?
So I wanted to know, like, and I'm sure a lot of guys want to know this, not just from a Muslim background, but any kind of conservative background. There's a lot of guys that actually had a positive response to, just this Indian guy game thing. I think it was a thread out there. How, as far as being conservative, how did you deal with that? If you've got a conservative family, I would think it's really tough to jump out of that shit and, do what you're doing, which is basically sleeping with hot girls.
And if I can put an addendum on that too, if you could get to this too, or if you don't mind answering this, did you find that you had to sort of draw away from your family, or were you still able to kind of like maintain that relationship and still kind of
That's a good point.
keep these values that you wanted? Because for me, my family doesn't really accept the kind of person I am necessarily. So I kind of keep that separate. I have my personal life, and then I have my family life. So if you feel comfortable touching on that too.
Yeah, when I was younger, I definitely would keep it to myself. But there was a point around 16 or 17 where I'm just this testosterone enraged teenager, and I basically just snap out and say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, and I don't care if people are gonna worry about it." There are certain people that I pull away from. Luckily, the majority of my family's on the East Coast, so once they found out about all the stuff I was doing, that I had a girlfriend or ate bacon or whatever I'm doing, or I'm a little punk rock shithead, they basically accepted me for what I was. Oh, I have piercings, so I had a mohawk, or I'm wearing weird clothes, weird band names, and stuff like that. They just ended up accepting it. They're saying he's not going to change. We can't change him.
Yeah,
it was kind of like the funny black sheep of the family, but I still was accepted. But
and I
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's, I kind of wanted to use that as a cue to send a message to all these Indian guys, Asian guys, any kind of guys in a subculture even that are part of this conservative, they think that they have to impress their family. Dude, like Chaotic is saying, just say fuck it. Do what you want. Your family will still accept you. They're gonna accept you no matter who you are. It might be there might be some difficulty there, but like you said, it's always they should appreciate you for who you are.
But continue with what you were saying there, Chaotic.
Oh, I think that Indian dudes now have a better chance of being, more accepted and stuff like that than it was when I was around. There weren't that many of us. There wasn't much of a community. And you know how,
Absolutely.
South Asians have a very tight-knit community. Everyone knows each other.
Yeah. You're right, man. I wanted to touch on that too because a lot of Indian guys, like me, come to this country and they say, oh, fuck it. It's going to be easier for me to hang out with other Indian people or other Pakistani people. It's like, I think Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, any South Asians, just so the fucking manosphere knows, everyone calls them Desi. So these Desi people end up tending to fucking stick together. And they don't break outside the group and talk to white people, black people. And they just keep inside that bubble. So all those values that, that are strong, those stay. But now you're in a different environment where there's different values that people, kind of practice. And you've got to jump into those and understand what those are in order to succeed.
Vin, did you kind of sense that coming out of the hood or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you kind of had that same...
Everybody wants to lock you into certain things that you do.
Oh, yeah.
And if you ever try to break out of that mold, everybody wants to look at you like you're crazy. One of my biggest problems with black people in America is all these black dudes want to run around like they're like anti-establishment. But if you look at black people now, they are so homogenous and so conformist that they all dress alike, no matter what part of the country they're from. They all dress alike and they're all starting to talk alike. If you started dressing punk rock years ago, it was like, oh, that's just so-and-so, doing his thing.
Yeah.
Now you got people look at you and it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
That's not how we dress. What are you talking about, we? Everybody wants to make you what I like to call the cookie cutter human. It's like you got a subdivision where all the houses look alike. Now they're trying to make the same thing with people, where everybody is just running around looking the same and dressed the same.
Yeah, so now, do you think you get friends or family trying to pull you back into that? When, you kind of, are in the mainstream now, like you're hanging out with us and like, do you feel like you get pulled back in? My friends and family leave me be. They know that I am the way that I am. A lot of them don't get why I'm the way that I am, but they just leave me be. That's just Vin.
My family doesn't really, they kind of leave me be too. My brother, he's a fucking feminist, man. He, he's
How old is your brother?
Oh man, he's a few years younger than me. He's around early 20s. Early to mid 20s.
Pretty young, dude.
But he's married to a what I like to call a bridge troll.
Dude, he's 20 years old. He's married.
He's 24, I think.
No shit.
Yeah, but he, the thing is, like, he's a good-looking guy and he's very charismatic, and he gravitates towards whatever's popular. He's definitely a hardcore conformist. And he, I don't feel like he's being necessarily honest with himself, but you have to kind of let your family, be your family, and they have to kind of learn to accept you as you are, because your family, it's always going to be. There's going to be some strained relationships there, I think, no matter what. But Chaotic, what have you noticed as far as what you were saying on that?
Yeah, as far as being pulled back in.
I was just thinking about this while you guys were talking. I was actually walking to the store the other day, and I walk out and I see these three Indian dudes just grouped together. And
oh man, don't get me started on that
horribly
shit.
dressed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was out there at one point. I get it, and they didn't comb their hair. There's no style. There's nothing. It's just a little puff. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
I know exactly what you're talking about. I see it all the time.
And I'm just like cringing inside, saying, "Dude, these guys have so much potential if they just went at it." But they're conforming to their culture. They're sticking in it, and they don't want to do it. But they'll look outside at everyone else and stare at them. But one thing I always want to tell like Indian dudes is like, you know what? It doesn't matter, you know, if you have like a dope job and, you know, you still dress like an IRT, like you need to pay attention at what other people are doing. Like I walk around and I talk, obviously I don't sound Indian. I don't, you know, I'm like, where do I go to, you know, I'm not, I'm talking, you know, kind of like this California whitewashed dude. I grew up around, you know, white dudes, Mexican dudes. Two of my best friends when I was growing up were like gangbangers, you know, so I kind of had a little bit of it all. And like, I just think Indian dudes need to kind of reel it back and kind of take a look at themselves and says like, you know what, we're better than this. Be proud of your race, absolutely, man. Go ahead, be proud that you're Indian. And like, if someone asks you, like, hell yeah, I am. You know, like, you know, it's funny because I get asked about, like, well, what are you? You know, and I kind of roll my eyes in the back of my head, but I said, I'll just guess. And it's funny because with the way that my facial hairstyle and the way I have my haircut and everything, you know, I usually get South American or I get Mexican, Persian, Arab, and then I'll get Indian. Yeah. So you gotta step out of the box.
What it is, and I guess what I'm trying to get at is, don't take race so seriously that it ends up being a detriment to your mental health. I mean,
yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think that the way that they view race is kind of like a prison in their own head. They need to break out of it, and they need to realize that it's not a big deal. You know, I've had some girls not even talk about my race, not even bring that up. And, you know, which at first was kind of shocking. I was like, wow, she's not asking about where I'm from, you know, if I'm religious or anything like that. She's just talking to me. And you start realizing that, dude, it's all in your head, and you need to get rid of it. I think the biggest point about that is when you don't look at yourself that way anymore, that's the start of unchaining yourself and moving away from that mind concept and then going forward and being able to improve yourself as far as a person, regardless of race. Because in the end, race, I mean, sure, there's some stuff that's going to still be there, but the majority isn't. It's in your head.
You know, what I really like about our podcast in particular is, you know, a lot of people have said we've done the two of them so far, so it's not like we have like a style necessarily yet.
We don't have a fucking fan following.
But there's a universality, I think, to what we talk about here, man. It's just a few dudes hanging around, having some beers, shooting the shit, you know, talking about just stuff they go through. Yeah. And it adds a more realistic element to, you know, say, hey, fuck, you know, this stuff that's holding me back, and I'm going to kind of overcome that and just you know, make the best out of it. You know, it's the abundance mindset. It's the kind of universality of you know, game. You know, saying no matter where you come from, you can find a way to kind of pick up women. And I think that's what's drawing people a lot to this forum, for one thing. It's about you, and it's about you liking you. Most of the time, I tell people all the time, I fuck with people. And it's like, you know,
you're kidding me.
When people are like, yeah, you know, like women, it's like, yeah, you know what, you're pretty funny, I like you. Of course you like me. I'm lovable as fuck. How could you not like me?
Right? Yeah. Because that fucking said that so many times. Yeah. I'm like, it's fucking me.
Yeah. To know me is to love me. So when you tell me you don't like me, that means there's something fucked up about you, and I feel sorry for you because I'm incredible. Everybody should want to know me.
Absolutely.
Is there a line between having this kind of self-love and crossing over to a point where it becomes detrimental? I mean, I know guys who, you know, okay, look at Little Dark, for example.
You're using the fucking extreme
this guy,
example.
You know, like, he was like, am I being too alpha? You know, or I, you know, this guy has so much self-love. You know, you'd think that would be, you know, too much of it. Maybe it's too much of a good thing. You know, where is the line, you know, saying that, you know, a lot of people try to paint us as, you know, on the forum or in the manosphere as these guys out of touch with reality. I mean, just listen to this podcast. You know, we're just dudes trying to figure stuff out and living life.
If you think about it, there's a difference between being confident and being arrogant.
Sure.
A person who's confident believes in himself, or, you know, you believe in your abilities, you trust you. A person that's arrogant is a person who expects their greatness to be acknowledged.
Oh, yeah.
They need something from the outside. They need somebody to say, hey, Helter Skelter, you are a phenomenal human being.
Right.
Whereas the person that's confident can really give a fuck if you think that they're a phenomenal human being because they think that they're a phenomenal human being.
Yeah, and Vince, I think we talked about this real validation, fact-wise.
Because in order to get to the point where you say, fuck you, I'm an actual, lovable human being. There has to be some way to get to that point. I mean, you can't just say to yourself, and I've tried to do this.
You're getting to a good
Suddenly,
point.
I'm confident. I'm confident now.
But
It's like those the affirmations in the mirror.
You have to
and shit.
succeed a little
you
bit.
got to start building it.
You got to build it. And
You got to
gotta
start
work on
building
it.
it. And the easiest way I tell guys to build it is if you suck at talking to women because you get all charged up, start turning colors and shit, and your eyes spin back in your head, just start talking to women.
Yeah.
Grocery store, baristas,
Yeah.
old ladies on the bus stop, little girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's got a vagina, you talk to it, and you're not trying to bone them, but you're just getting used to talking to women so you don't throw up on your own shoes from the
Absolutely.
stress.
No,
That's
and
helped me a lot.
Vince,
man.
you make a good point because generally, man, like people think, oh fuck, man, I gotta approach like 100 girls that are exactly gonna be this profile. 20-year-olds, like fucking 25-year-olds.
No.
I gotta approach these girls. But really, man, it's about being social. It's about being likable and talking to a lot of people. Whether it's I'll take that. Being men and just being out there in the world, man. I mean, we're all different personalities, helter skelter, but I think we all believe in the fact that we've got to be social to get ahead.
Yes.
I mean, I think we truly all do.
Yeah, man. I definitely think that you need to be comfortable with yourself first, and that's obviously inner game. You've got to be, like you said, there's a difference between confident and arrogant. In my point of view, if you don't fucking like me, fuck off. So what? You don't matter to me. But, if you do, great. You either love me or hate me. I don't give a shit. It does not matter. I know in the beginning I was looking for validation. I was definitely looking for, this girl likes me, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, whatever. Next. It doesn't matter. Obviously, if you're trying to talk to a girl and you're trying to fuck her and stuff like that, you're going to, put your game face on and go out there. But you want to make sure it's you. Make sure you're, I'm going to fuck this girl. Like, when you're completely arrogant and overconfident in your abilities, that'll be your downfall. You need to reel it back and be able to understand where you're at and what you need to do to improve. I'm always improving. I'm always learning something. Like the other day, I was, or actually today, I was seeing that, like on the text thread forum, whatever it was, what should he say about some shit test he got? I'm like, well, that's good. I don't even know because I've never been put in that position. You're always learning. That's why I come to the forum every single day to write my thoughts out and have a discussion.
Yeah. And I've got to say, Chaotic, man, one of the most popular threads that you've put out there, actually I should say, a few of the popular threads you've put out there is the self-analysis. I think a lot of people probably...
Was he the one who did the self-analysis?
Yeah.
People were, like, ripping on him
Chaotic,
for that?
you did a self-analysis like every single year since like 2014 or something.
I really like that.
I mean, it's amazing that you were able to reflect on stuff that you progressed on and stuff that you failed on, man.
Self-reflection.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's helped you?
Yeah.
Well, it actually started out with kind of a blacklist sheet I have, a spreadsheet, basically talking about girls that fuck, girls that barely did anything with and didn't finish with, things like that. And then I kind of saw some people's reviews and guides and stuff and said, I'm going to do something like this, but make it a little bit more detailed. Yeah, man, I mean, I thought it was important to me because I actually wrote it down for myself. And then I said, you know what? I like sharing this and getting criticism.
Working in an open loop.
And seeing what I can do differently and then coming back to it and looking at it. But also, I know that there's other dudes out there that are just like me that, need the push. Like, this indie dude wrote all this shit. I can do it. That's what it's there for. The reason I go to the forum is, to help people out. And, sometimes what I might say would only make sense to me, but in my head, like, I feel like the more I talk, the more I contribute, the better everyone else is, including myself. But as far as the reviews, the first one was just absolutely detailed because I had a great year in 2014-2015 year. Mm-hmm. I had a lot going for me, and I wanted to share what I did. So, for example, the Tinder thread was huge for me that year. So I basically went to the Tinder thread and pulled some stuff out, talked about bios, talked about openers, talked about closers, summaries about it. Then I went to logistics, and that's the year I got on the logistics lockdown in this town and started making headway with being able to close girls out at those bars. 2015 was more of a reflection of 2014, 2015, and more of what's changed and and I didn't need to go into detail a lot of the stuff I did because I linked it to the 2014-2015 year.
So you're just kind of tightening up and
yeah, and that's why I'm so detailed whenever I write about dates, when I write about girls that bang, or, you know, those details. I like bringing out examples and details because it could be that one little thing that gives a guy the edge and gets a girl into bed or gets a girl that he likes or whatever.
And you continue that process by analyzing yourself to see, well, hey, what did I do bad maybe last year or last time or the last girl? And, you know, how is that being inconsistent with what I should be doing?
Kiadik, I wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself maybe in like maybe 5 years? You know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, what kind of game achievements would you like to maybe unlock, or like what kind of, you know, where do you see yourself going? What's your path taking you?
Fucking
to?
World of Warcraft here.
Yeah, right.
What are you gonna unlock now?
I just want to marry a white girl and settle down.
Yes. Yes.
Don't we all, man? That's like the
Oh,
goal of
shit,
everyone.
that is
Skinny
actually
little blonde with some big titties. Yep.
I'd have my mother saying, "Why you're not marrying any girl? I arrange her for you."
We got a little bit of IRT there too. So
Yeah. Are you crazy or are you sexy?
Thank you so much for that, guys. That was awesome. Yeah.
In Daisy right now.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can do this all day.
Is there one big thing you want to do, or a few big things you want to do?
Oh man, as far as goals, traveling, like I just need to get the fuck out of here and go some places. I definitely want to do that as far as personal goals. Yeah, I think traveling for sure. Maybe an annual threesome, hopefully without a girl. That's definitely in my books.
God, I'd love to talk
did you
about
say
that
an
too.
annual threesome?
Well, you've had a couple threesomes already, and I can't believe I didn't touch on that. But
Man, honestly, that's just like right place, right time, right mindset.
Yeah, you can't force that. I went skinny dipping once with a girlfriend and her friend, and we had sex in the shower the next morning while her mom was making us waffles. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
so was that a threesome? Or?
Yeah, it was a threesome. Yeah, me and her friend were all in the shower, and I was
That's
like, "Hey,
awesome,
you guys
dude.
should make out," and they did, and then I got hard, and then we just kind of took it from there.
Later.
Helter Skelter's in the same club as you, Chaotic. Shit.
Yeah, man.
Didn't know
It's
that.
definitely fun, but I think most of it I want to focus maybe is on quality. I have a feeling that this year's going to be more self-focused on maybe my career, maybe better girls to be hanging out with, maybe just consistent mini L2. I don't know as far as that, but just better quality for sure. I think another thing I'm going to be doing is just, like I said, focusing on getting a little bit bigger. You know, I got to my goal for weight, but I need to focus more on my nutrition. As far as game goes, you know, what I talked about with, you know, maybe different flags. I mean, Asian girls are really tough for me, so I've been trying to hammer at that, try to get some girls that way. There's one thing I should point out, actually, is that black girls love Indian dudes. I've always been hit up by a lot of black girls about that, so...
Wait. Chaotic, I'm sorry, say that again? You said black girls?
Yeah, black girls love Indian dudes. Banging body, and
Yeah.
just, dude, I kept her around for a while, but she caught feelings, and I let her go, and then I ended up hooking up with like two other ones, and then I had 2 dates with one just last week, but one was mixed, like, with, like, West Indian and stuff like that, but that's
Oh,
one
man,
thing
those
that
are great.
I know I can explore more if I want to, and, you know, I definitely am diverse with girls, you know, at the beginning it was all white girls and stuff, but then I definitely expanded out.
Yep. It's definitely a good niche, man. It's actually a positive niche that's beneficial, so...
I'm working in 2016. I'm working at getting leaner. I dropped down quite a bit of weight over the summer, but I started changing up my workouts and eating, and I'm leaner. I've almost got abs at 260, so which is weird. I've never been this big and this lean before. But another thing I'm working on in 2016 is no time wasters. If you're wasting time, I go dark on you, and I may never call you again. If we talk, it's because you texted me or called me. You made contact with me. But you act flaky in 2016, you get no second opportunities. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
You gotta pass the fucking law to make time raping charges, man.
Yep. Like Patrice O'Neal was saying, you're a time rapist. You're trying to rape my time.
All right, I'm gonna have to look some of that Patrice O'Neal up, man.
I'll send it all to you. I've got it all.
All right.
Oh, that guy's great.
Cobra, what's your game goal for 2016, man? What are you looking for?
For me, man, it's more lifestyle, more inner game stuff, and trying to do better at what I'm doing right now, which is sales and building my business. I mean, I've pretty much got my own business, and I'm trying to build it. Chaotic, I guess. Desi / Indian / Pakistani guys are good at fucking business. So, that's my goal, man. Trying to get better at that. I mean, I also want to try to get better at socializing people, even, being maybe better with women. But my main goal is just to focus on myself, to be honest.
I think for me, I want to lock down my logistics. I sort of just moved to the area about a year ago or so. So, getting more comfortable, I think, with the logistics of the area and getting my routine down, going to the gym, making sure that my base is locked down is going to be 2016 for me. So.
I was going to say, you talked about working on your business and career. Like I was writing about earlier, I feel like I've got a comfortable situation with being able to get girls and, being able to pick them up if I need to, wherever they're from. But I think I need to focus more on, maybe my career, more my personal life, and being able to improve that, and then, figure out what I want to do with that. So I think this is a lot about me, and definitely about women, but not as much as it was the last few years.
Well, we'll have to check back in with you, man. This was a great conversation. I'm really glad you called.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm glad we did this. This is my first time ever doing this, and I'm definitely down to do
It's
more.
a lot of fun, isn't it? It's so much fun to do this.
Man. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. I never got to told you guys, but thanks for serving. I really appreciate that. I know a lot of guys on the forum do. Yeah, you got to have a positive outlook, and you've got to dive in. You have to dive in. You have to embrace this, and you understand that it's going to hurt. You're going to get rejected. Some shit's going to happen. A bitch might walk out, and it's happened to me. You have to just hammer it in and then be able to learn. And you have to have an open mind to the forum. You're going to get criticized. That's fine, but it's positive, constructive criticism where men can talk and actually have a conversation. Not like a bunch of little catty-ass bitches. Like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
And race is not a factor. It's in your fucking head.
Right.
Get that straight.
Yep. I agree with you completely. But yeah, man, it was great to have you, and hopefully we can discuss.
Yeah, we're gonna check back in with
topics.
you, man. See how everything's going. We're gonna definitely do this again. This is a great conversation tonight. So, any last things for the group?
That's it, man. Thanks for having me. I hope we can do this again. And if anyone else has any questions, ask me, ask all these guys. You guys are solid dudes. I'd love to see you in Chicago sometime.
That would be great. Thanks so much, Chaotic.
You're always welcome here,
Take
buddy.
care, man.
Have a good one.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Later.